Welcome to Microchip's briefing. The content of the briefing includes: billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says the S&P 500 won't hit a new high for years, and house prices will probably fall. US-China trade tensions regain momentum. The multi-million-dollar machines at the center of the US-China rivalry. Superpower, who wore it better this week? Updated US export controls could further curb ASML's equipment exports. Billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says the S&P 500 won't hit a new high for years, and house prices will probably fall. Yahoo! US-China trade tensions regain momentum. Financial Times. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said his country plans to cut ties with the Gaza Strip once the war with Hamas is over. Gallant's comments are the most explicit yet on the Israeli government's strategy. Meanwhile, OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, is in talks with investors about selling shares that would value the company at $86 billion. This is roughly 3 times higher than it was 6 months ago and would make OpenAI one of the world's most valuable private companies. U.S. President Joe Biden has asked Congress for a national security package worth more than $100 billion, including $61.4 billion in funding for Ukraine and $14.3 billion for Israel. In other news, Beijing's new export restrictions on graphite and Chinese chipmaking's existential challenge have increased U.S.-China trade tensions. The export curbs on graphite, a mineral crucial for the electric vehicle transition, followed the Biden administration tightening controls on the sale of cutting-edge AI chips to China. The multi-million-dollar machines at the center of the US-China rivalry. New York Times. The complex lithography machines that print intricate circuitry on computer chips have become a key choke point in the US-China tech war. Last week, US officials moved to curb China's progress towards developing its own chip-making industry by blocking companies globally from sending additional types of chip-making machines to China unless they obtain a special license from the US government. This could be a significant blow to China's chip manufacturing ambitions. The US officials took the position that they could regulate equipment manufactured outside the US if it contains even just one American-made part. This decision gives US officials new sway over companies in the Netherlands and Japan, where some of the most advanced chip machinery is made. The US rules will now stop shipments of some machines that use deep ultraviolet (DUV) technology made mainly by the Dutch firm ASML. Superpower, who wore it better this week? Bloomberg. China's President Xi Jinping has unveiled a newer, sleeker version of his signature Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, at a 10-year anniversary celebration in Beijing. The initiative, which has faced criticism for being a debt trap and a tool for Chinese empire building, has still achieved its goal of building infrastructure in countries that needed it. The new version of BRI will be smaller, greener, and more technologically advanced, with Beijing focusing its ambitions in areas where it feels welcome. The initiative has also allowed China to build alliances and friendships that can help counter an increasingly hostile global environment. Updated US export controls could further curb ASML's equipment exports. South China Morning Post. U.S. export controls on chip-making tools bound for China have been expanded to include lithography equipment capable of making chips on a 45-nanometer node or less, as well as advanced tools for etching and film deposition. The updated controls could impact shipments of Dutch firm ASML Holdings' TWINSCAN NXT 1980D immersion lithography machine, which is used by many Chinese fabs in advanced and mature semiconductor manufacturing. ASML CEO, Peter Wennink, said the new restrictions will only apply to a few Chinese fabs involved in advanced semiconductor manufacturing and will not affect the majority of its Chinese customers. Analysis: U.S. chip curbs give Huawei a chance to fill the NVIDIA void in China. Reuters. Restrictions imposed by the U.S. on the export of advanced artificial intelligence, AI, chips to China could open up opportunities for Huawei to expand in its domestic market, according to analysts. NVIDIA has historically been the leading provider of AI chips in China, but Chinese firms such as Huawei have been developing their own versions. However, Huawei's Ascend AI chips are currently less capable than NVIDIA's and the company lacks the necessary ecosystem to support them. Intellectual property rights are also an issue, as U.S. firms hold key patents for GPUs. NVIDIA dip buyers burned by U.S. chip battle with China. Bloomberg. Shares of chipmaker NVIDIA fell 8.5% over 2 days after the introduction of U.S. rules limiting technology transfers to China, which could threaten the company's revenue. The drop was the worst in more than a year and came after Nvidia's stock rose 14% in the previous month. The company, which has seen $180 billion wiped off its market value since August, is scheduled to report earnings on November 21st. Another curveball for markets, world investing themes for the week ahead. The Globe and Mail. Escalating tension in the Middle East and rising U.S. bond yields are set to cause further turbulence in financial markets, further exacerbated by high oil prices and China's property pain. The European Central Bank is expected to keep interest rates on hold after a series of hikes, while earnings from megacap companies such as Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon will be released. Additionally, Argentina's presidential election will take place on Sunday, with the country's economic crisis at stake. Tech latest, fresh geopolitical tensions hit TSMC. Nikkei Asia. In this podcast episode, Alice French interviews Kenji Kawase, the Hong Kong chief business news correspondent for Nikkei Asia. They discuss the renewed geopolitical tensions in the tech sector and the impact on Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC. The podcast is available on various platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Listeners can also register for the weekly #TechAsia newsletter and subscribe to Nikkei Asia for comprehensive coverage of Asian business, politics, economy, and tech stories. China, world's top graphite producer, to curb exports of key battery material. Reuters. China has announced that it will require export permits for certain graphite products in order to protect national security. China is the world's top producer and exporter of graphite, which is used in electric vehicle (EV) battery anodes. The move comes as foreign governments increase pressure on Chinese companies over their industrial practices. China's Commerce Ministry said the measure was not targeting any specific country. The new restrictions will require exporters to apply for permits to ship two types of graphite as of December 1st. Top buyers of graphite from China include Japan, the US, India, and South Korea. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.